Porn sabotages your climb to your full potential. I'm Dr. Trish Leigh. Welcome back for another episode of the podcast, Porn Brain Rewire. I'm your hostess with the mostest, and today I am going to walk you through what the climb to your full potential looks like and how porn sabotages that early on. And of course, stay with me until the end because I will give you a brain hack so that you can learn what you can do to put that self-sabotaging behavior behind you, get on purpose, get on track to achieving your full potential. So let's do it. Okay, so in this episode, we are going to do three things. Number one, I'm going to outline for you what your full potential looks like. What am I talking about full potential in the first place? Number two, I'm going to talk about the climb to your full potential in the framework of something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you know it, you probably love it like I do. If you don't, stay tuned with me during this episode because it's awesome and it can absolutely clarify what you are experiencing in your life. And then number three, we're going to talk about how porn sabotages that, thinking about the steps basically in Maslow's hierarchy and how you get stuck in the bottom. Then your brain hack to get to the top, my friend. Okay, so without further ado, full potential. What is that? Well, in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization is what full potential is named. And that's what we're talking about here. That's what I tell people. My 90-day program is actually a program of self-actualization. It's personal transformation for self-actualization. Figure out who the hell you are and have the courage to become that beautiful, true self version of yourself. That's the job of humanity. That's why we're all here. We're all here to figure out who we are, what our piece in the puzzle is in the greater humanity, and contribute to it. That's what we're talking about when we talk about full potential. There is nothing else besides that. Money's just money. It's energy. It's a way that you can connect to other people. Achievements and being, keeping up with the Joneses, those types of things, that isn't purpose. Self-actualization is becoming the most that you can be. That's what it says in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, becoming the very most. But most is subjective and qualitative. That's different for every person. So it's not becoming the most that your mom and dad want you to be. It's not becoming the most that your partner wants you to be, or your friends, or your uncle, or your brother's sister's daughter. It's the most that you want to be. And I know that that is one of the most difficult things to figure out in this journey. And it's also not the ego. It's not the little self we've talked about here before on the podcast. It's not what that version of you wants you to be. And I'm going to break that down again in just a second. But what self-actualization, full potential is, in a nutshell, is you figure out the things that you want to do to contribute to the world in your time here on earth, and to have some joy and happiness, peace, peppered with pleasure while you're here. Most of us, we don't want a life of constant pleasure seeking. That is a life of the ego. The ego wants more and more pleasure. The ego, the little self, the one that wears the mask of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the one who doesn't know what he wants and what he's doing here, the one that was traumatized when he was young, the one that's stuck in unhealthy habits. That version wants nonstop pleasure and numbing and escapism so you don't have to sit with yourself and figure out what that true, authentic, big S self wants to do and wants to spend his time here on earth. Who he wants to spend it with, purpose. So I'm going to give you one word when it comes to full potential. It's purpose. What is your purpose here? My purpose here is to constantly strive and arrive at higher levels of my own self-actualization, and through all the learning I've done, help you learn what you need to do to become the very best version of yourself. That's my purpose. I'm an educator. I'm a teacher. I'm trying to heal myself and encourage others to heal themselves too, to inspire and empower you with knowledge, with skills, with tools, with strategies, and with support. That's my purpose. So, how do I achieve that? So, we're here in full potential. What does full potential look like? Purpose. What a big fancy word that means nothing to you on a Monday morning, right? Am I right? Well, the way that purpose becomes actualized is to actually go do something about it. So it's the steps that you take, the actions, the behaviors, the thoughts, and being able to feel your true feelings. That's how you self-actualize on a moment-to-moment basis every single day. So self-actualization, full potential, and purpose, it happens in the tiny little moments. And your brain hack for the day is exactly related to that. So stay with me because it's important. It's so simple, but not easy. So stay with me until the end. But we're talking about your purpose. Now, let's relate purpose, self-actualization, and full potential to your beautiful brain. What that looks like is the green zone. So the green zone on EEG, which is the brain rewire assessment that I perform for people, and I spend an hour talking with you about what your brain is doing. If your brain is all in the green on the QEEG brain map that I offer, if it's all in the green, I call it the green zone, that means your brain is running optimal, 100% optimally if every area of your brain is green. And when you have a brain map done, generally speaking, there's between 19 and 21 areas or channels that we look at. So if all 19 to 21 of those areas are green, you have a 100% optimized brain, which I call a unicorn. I haven't even seen it ever yet, but there's some people that get close, and we will talk about that. So full potential, purpose, and peace and joy, calm focus, happiness, some pleasure, healthy levels of pleasure, all come out of that optimal green zone brain pattern. What happens is if your brain isn't in the green zone, the more of those areas that go towards red or blue, red being too high of use, blue being too low of use of a speed, it means your brain is running too fast or too slow. It's a dysregulated brain pattern. And what that means is it's almost impossible for you to reach your full potential the more areas that are red or blue. That's what I can see on the brain map. So that's how I know basically how many areas and how many levels away from optimal any given person is. My goal is to get all areas of your brain as close to green as possible, which means you're on purpose, you feel calm and focused, excuse me, you're able to engage with other people in your relationships and contribute to them and enjoy and accept love. You're able to connect. You're able to take care of all of your needs. And that's going to transition us into what does this climb to self-actualization look like? And we're going to look at it. This is number 2 we're on. And I better get a sip of water here so I don't choke on myself again. So we are going to look at what these levels in Maslow's hierarchy of needs look like. So if you've ever seen Maslow's hierarchy, it's basically a triangle, and the lowest level is the thickest and the biggest section, and then rising to the apex is the smallest section. And I'm going to outline each one of the levels for you, and I want you to think about the lowest levels being the most basic needs, the fundamental needs that a person, you, needs to take care of so that they can go up to the next level. And then of course, then we're going to talk about what can go awry at these levels, and that's going to be how porn derails you from being able to actualize your full potential. So let's start with the very bottom level, physiological needs. So physiological needs are your very basic needs of food, shelter, water, clothing, air. Sexuality is down there, reproduction. So reproduction is down in physiological basic needs. The biggest chunk of the pyramid in Maslow's hierarchy of needs that he came up with in 1943. And it's been a foundational element of thinking about personal transformation and self-actualization. At the very bottom is reproduction. Now, reproduction and sexuality is evolutionary in nature. We've talked about this before. There's an evolutionary drive for sexuality to reproduce your offspring so that we as humans can continue to populate and continue to keep our species and our family lines going. So inherently within us, there is a drive for sexuality to have children, to procreate, and to keep our family legacy, right? Legacy alive. So that is a physiological basic need down there with air, water, shelter, food, and clothing. Reproduction. But hear me now. Stop and hear me. Reproduction. Reproduction sexuality involves not one, but two people. And it does not involve a screen. It is relational in nature, and it's designed for population and to continue the species, not for pleasure. You with me on this? And we're going to visit this again in just a second. Okay, so that's the physiological basic needs on the bottom, the biggest level of Maslow's hierarchy. Now, going up from there, the second level is safety. We all have a need to feel safe and secure. And we know many of the wounds on the inside, the traumas that we have experienced, come from the times we didn't feel safe and secure, and we develop defensive mechanisms and compensatory strategies to help us feel safe and secure because there were times that we did not feel safe and secure. Safety and security are number 2 after basic physiological needs to keep yourself alive. Now, what does safety and security look like? Personal security, employment, resources, health, and property. So we have to be healthy. We have to have a job in today's day and age. We have to be able to secure employment. And if you've met me, you know that I think you should secure employment that you love, considering you do it most of your life. And this way, if you have employment that you enjoy and you love and is meeting your basic safety needs, then you can go to the level above. But you have to be able to meet your physiological needs, then your safety needs, then we move on to the next level is love and belonging. At love and belonging is friendship, partnership, being part of a family, a sense of connection and intimacy. So love and belonging are the third level. They are not as fundamental as physiological needs like air, water, and reproduction. They are level 3 after safety and security. This is going to be important because in this level is intimacy and connection. So I'm gonna connect the dots for you in just a second. Next, on the next level up is esteem, self-worth, self-esteem, a feeling of confidence, a feeling of status and recognition is what Maslow's hierarchy says, but that would be an ego construct that is applied. And we will also break this down in a second, but status and recognition is people looking at you and you feel like you've accomplished something. So that's esteem, but not in the very best way. What I want you to learn to do is to look inside and say, I'm on purpose. I'm earning money, doing the thing I love, contributing to the world. I'm relating and connecting with people at that lower level. I have all my basic needs met. I feel good from the inside out. And for me, it's peace and joy and happiness. If you don't have peace, you are not checking the boxes at the levels that are below esteem. We will revisit, but I want you to know that. So then when we go to the very pinnacle of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the very tippy top, up there is self-actualization, the desire to be the most that you can be. But it's difficult to be in a position of self-actualization if you're always struggling with these lower levels. So let's go to the next, looking at number 3, how porn sabotages your climb up this hierarchy of needs to the top of Self-actualization and full potential. Now, what happens is when you were young, you found pornography. Now, pornography took the place of the development of healthy sexuality. It kind of usurped it. It came in earlier for most people, and it started to inform your sexual practices before you developed healthy sexuality. At the same time, it also hijacked your brain. And what happened was, instead of developing the healthy brain pattern, the green zone, your brain was hijacked and it developed with the pendulum effect brain pattern of too much fastness and too much slowness. So porn came in early on and derailed you from your full potential neurologically, psychologically, and physiologically at this lowest level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Because what happened was, now sex became to you the molecule of more. It became a mechanism to get more and more dopamine. It did not become the mechanism to secure your physiological needs for reproduction. Are you with me, hopefully? Because if this basic level need down at the very bottom was distorted and your brain was dysregulated towards its accomplishment, all the other levels on top have hiccups in them, for lack of a better word. They've become distorted and dysregulated also. So now sexuality becomes the drive for constant pleasure seeking instead of evolutionarily being linked to finding a healthy partner, having healthy sexuality, building a family or children, and having a legacy. Now it becomes people are stuck in the screen for constant pleasure seeking, which science shows takes you away from healthy sexuality. Relational sex is distorted, and solo sex with a secret sex life is what many people are doing, which is inherently destroying their relationships. We know this. It's the silent tsunami is what it's being called. And that silent tsunami has ripples out from your porn habit to your relationship, to your work, to your hobbies, to your friends, to your connection, to your safety and security, to your intimacy, love, and belonging, which I will break down even further, to your self-esteem, and to your ability to self-actualize into your full potential. And absolutely at the level of your brain, there's neurological dysregulation, which will make it impossible for you to achieve the green zone brain pattern. I hope you're with me. So when porn distorts sexuality at this very basic physiological level, when you put the habit behind you and you heal your brain, which yes, you can heal your brain. Neuroplasticity makes it so that you can heal your brain. So when you leave the habit behind and you rewire your brain towards the healthy mode, you are now able to climb the steps to self-actualization. What it looks like is you're meeting all your physiological needs, and now your physiological need for pair bonding and for creating healthy sexuality in the world with a partner, that is restored. And so then the toxic dynamics that have become created or made in your relationship can now be healed, and you can, at the second level, feel more safe and secure in your relationship, in your home, in your own skin. Safety and security. Your job feels more secure. Many people's jobs, because their brains are becoming so damaged from porn, they're not able to show up as their best in their job. I talk to men every single week who say, I'm at risk for losing my job because I cannot think. Brain fog and frontal lobe hypofrontality is destroying your ability to think. So your safety and security is at risk. Then you go up a level in Maslow's hierarchy. Love, belonging, and intimacy is being trashed by porn. There's guilt, there's shame, there's a secret sex life that's not about evolution, and it makes your ability to connect with your partner distorted, dysregulated, and sometimes impossible. And it's because the wall's being put up because of shame. So now your ability to feel safe and secure in your family and in your partnership, that is destroyed also. So now we go up a level to self-esteem and esteem. There's shame. The underpinning of porn use is shame, making it so that you can't feel whole and you can't feel confident and strong and like you are showing up in the world like you want to. So it's impossible to get to self-actualization because your brain is so clouded on what your purpose is, because your brain's been taught that its purpose is to hunt down more dopamine. It's inadvertently been hijacked to think that. So it's completely derailed from purpose, connection, and showing up in the world in a contributive state. Because when you are sucked into a porn habit, you get into the narcissistic bubble and you think, what can I get from the world? Not what can I give to it. It's how do I get more pleasure? How do I get more of it? When you heal your brain, what happens is now you say, how may I serve? How can I show up? Because that's what purpose looks like. And when you show up, you have a ton of fun. And when you're with people that you can just be yourself and you can be vulnerable, you become invulnerable. And then what happens is your life is filled with laughter and happiness and joy. My family took a family walk yesterday. It's so funny. And I called up to my son, Seamus, and I said, hey, Shay, we're taking a family walk. And you know what he shouts back? Have fun. And everyone's like, we all died of laughter. Of course, he came with us. And it was so funny. I don't even know why. Doing nothing, everybody just rolling with laughter. It was like a 7-minute walk. In our new house, there's kind of a trail behind it, the greenway they call it. And there's kind of 3 exits, a short one, a medium, and a long one. We went the medium one this time. And it was really fun, just filled with laughter, joy, peace, happiness, and pleasure. But the pleasure's at healthy levels. It's not the thing you're chasing down. We are enjoying each other, joy. So that's how porn derails you from self-actualization. Okay, now get your journal out because here's your brain hack for the day. And it's simple, but it might not be easy. Every single day, the way that you show up is what contributes to your ability to climb these levels. Now, I'm going to tell you 2 things right now. The first thing is going back to talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Every day, you have to feel your true feelings, which might be difficult if you're still in the screen and escaping your true feelings. Feel your true feelings, gather your thoughts, and then act. Act in integrity for what is right for you. And hopefully it's the big S self. And there will be a transition as you heal your brain. And I'd like to talk about this for a second. So the transition when you're acting, when your brain is in the optimal mode, I said 100% optimal is a unicorn. I believe that. I've not seen it. I don't have it. I'm trying really hard, right? And the more you try, you know how that goes. Don't try, do. But if you're in 90% optimal and 10% ego, which is, pleasure or wanting to make money or wanting ice cream or, wanting a dry cappuccino, all of those things at 10% mean that you're acting in integrity of your true self at 90%. And that's a really good goal to go for right now. Trying to go for 100%. If you've met me, what I tell people is, give yourself a cheat day, not with porn, but with all the other stuff. Train your brain 6 days a week, but give yourself a break on the 7th day. Go for the 90% rule, not in porn use. This is in self-actualization. And you'll heal your brain to the 90%. It'll be mostly green and you will feel like you've never felt before. But on the recovery journey, what it might look like is right now it might be 90% red, 90% red and blue in that pendulum effect. And as you begin to take those steps every single day in the moments, what happens is that red and blue go down and there's more and more green in your brain. That's what I see when people do personal neurofeedback coaching with me. I can see their brain transition over time. They can see their brains transition over time. You can see your brain healing. And if you use the Muse brain training headband, I'll put the link below. If you use that, you can see your own brain training with less data, but to a certain extent, as you are implementing the recovery steps. Those are the steps that are in my 90-day program if you don't know what to do, and the brain hacks here. But as you implement the steps, your brain transitions from 90% red to 90% green. And basically you go from 90% ego, seeking pleasure everywhere there is, to 90% purpose, connection. And you can get to 99% for sure, because I'm getting close to it now that I'm healing, helping myself heal and get to the other side of it. Okay, so that's kind of the shift. 90-10, small self, big self, to 90-10, big self, small self. That's the journey. So what do you actually do? The brain hack for today is draw Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Look it up on your phone if you want to see exactly how to draw it. Draw it. And then think about each piece at each level. In the physiological needs, are you able to meet all of your needs in a healthy way? Are you able to get air, water, food? Are you able to have a home that feels good to you? Have clothing? Are you able to develop healthy sexuality? That's where I come in. That's where my 90-day program is the thing to do to shift unhealthy sexuality to healthy sexuality, which must happen to be able to get to the next level. At the next level, safety and security. Are you able to create it for yourself? If not, there's definitely strategies in my 90-day program to go to work on why you might not feel safe and secure in this world. Then, moving up to love and belonging, are you able to create that for yourself? Are you able to enjoy the connection of the people in your life? If you're not, there might be projection, there's anger, there's hurt, there's irritability. If love, belonging, connection are not healthy, there's room for growth, and it's probably coming from your porn brain. Going up to self-esteem, if you don't feel like a rock star in your life, if you don't feel like an awesome main character in the movie of your life, then it's coming from somewhere at the levels below. And if you're still watching porn or fantasizing or masturbating or have a sexual behavior that you want to extinguish, it's likely in that physiological need bar there in sexuality that needs to be healed. Then up at the top, if you don't know what your purpose is, and if you don't know what the most looks like in your life, you could use some help on that. That is what my program does. But the reason I'm telling you that is because that's what's necessary for self-actualization. I love how Maslow laid it out, because there it is. And if you can achieve those things and you can have a clear path forward on what you want and how to get there, that's how you actualize. That's how you transform. Now, in my world, there's a dysregulated neurological pattern in your brain. That's why brain training is so important, which is part of my 90-day program. I teach you how to use that headband. I teach you how to move forward in this process of self-transformation and actualization. Okay, I hope all that helps you. So get that chart out, break it down, and have the courage to shift out of the little self into the big self and rock out your best life. It's waiting for you. It is waiting for you. It doesn't matter how old you are. I talk to people all the time and they'll go, oh, I don't know if I should do this because I'm 37. I don't know if I should do this because I'm 54. I don't know if I, have enough time because I'm 61. I don't know if I have enough time because I'm 72. Listen, my friend, it's your life. You have the time for it. Let's go. All right. Go to my website, drtrishleigh.com. Check out the different programs. Get into the 90-day program if you need help climbing and getting rid of porn or sexual behavior so you can get up to that apex and that pinnacle to rock out your best life. All right, I'll see you there. And remember, control your brain or it'll control you.